Today's noisy digital-first world is a challenging one for business owners. How do you get more people to know you, trust you, and to respect your brand? How do you stay front of mind with your target audience, as well as talked about in a positive way in the marketplace? The answer is public relations, but not as you know it. Get ready to unlock the potential of your business through the power of PR, content, and digital communications. Get ready to become your own PR machine.
Welcome back to the Become Your Own PR Machine, the podcast. My name is Trevor Young, and in this episode, I'm going to go solo. We're going to talk about marketing versus PR, the black, the white, and the grey. Did you know that much of your marketing, and I'm using air quotes here, is actually PR? Let me clear a path here for you. Just like PR, marketing is largely misunderstood, I reckon, in the business world, in the media world, and it's often being equated simply to running ads or any activity that promotes a brand. I can tell you now, there's a whole lot more to marketing than that. Think market research, product development, crafting of service offers, pricing strategies, market positioning, sales messaging, public packaging and sales collateral, customer service, sales funnel development, SEO. I mean, the list is really, really long. And it's a complex topic, just like public relations is, which makes it really hard for us running businesses, that's for sure. And yes, like PR, where people think PR is about generating media publicity, it's a part, but a small part. A lot of people think all the various promotional activities, such as advertising, whether it's digital or traditional media channels or paid search or sponsorship or, branded events, any of that stuff, they think that is the the marketing remit. And it's, again, just one small part of it. So obviously things become a little bit more intricate when it comes to large companies and brands. But for most businesses that operate on the smaller end of the commercial spectrum, for better or worse, marketing is often consigned to that promotional bucket, just like PR is consigned to the media publicity bucket. And while maybe some people will pay a bit of lip service to the crafting of service offerings and brand positioning and that sort of things, at the end of the day, when people say marketing, they're talking about promotion. Speaking theoretically, the cornerstones of marketing have been for a very, very, very long time: product, price, placement, and promotion. And that theory has evolved significantly in recent years, obviously, as the world has changed significantly. And now experts and academics have expanded those 4 Ps that have been traditionally known for many, many, many years to 7 Ps. So we're talking about product, price, promotion, place, people, packaging, and process. So there's a lot that falls under all of those things. Now, I'm not going to get deep into any of that here because that's not my aim, but I think, again, we need to understand PR, we need to understand marketing and where they differ and where they perhaps overlap. And that's going to be an ongoing theme. But what I want to do right now in this episode is to provide you with a baseline of what marketing is so I can best illustrate what the PR alternative looks like. And of course, make no mistake, there is a mountain of grey in between. So please, let's not get into semantics over this comparison. But I really want it for food for thought, and I'd be really interested in hearing from you on what you think about this particular comparison between marketing and PR. So perhaps let me unpack this a little bit by way of comparison. And again, a little bit of grey, there is some black, there is some white. But I'm going to look at where can be significant crossover and where confusion starts and continues. So let's look at social media, because marketers use social media, PR people use social media. Do they use it in the same way? Potentially not. So I'm going to do this with a number of different areas and modalities, and you'll see that you'll come to understand over in a minute why there are 2 different ways of looking at things. Think 2 lenses, same but different. All right, so social media. Under marketing, how do marketers approach social media? Or, in my language, should. What should fall under each one of these, because they cross over left, right, and centre. So under marketing, social media, this is what marketing should be doing. They should be producing organic content that's designed to sell a product or service with calls to action, etc. They should be using social media to showcase products and creating content that supports the sales process, i.e. content that addresses common customer roadblocks and objections. And they also should use social media to provide customer support, to field inquiries, that side of things. When it comes to social media and PR, yes, it's very much around content and participation. On content, it's around building visibility, influence and trust, showing the faces of company leaders, positioning the company and reinforcing its position in the marketplace and the reputation that it has. It could be about showing people workplace culture and from an employer branding perspective, what it's like to work at the company. And, thought leadership is a very big thing that PR people do, and they can use content through social media to build a thought leadership positioning in the marketplace. Okay, when I said there was two parts, there was the content and the participation. This is about using social channels to reach out to connect with and build relationships with content creators, influencers and journalists, as well as brand advocates, people who are really big advocates for your brand, supporters of what it is you're doing. And as I said, employer branding posts, highlighting workplace culture, etc. So reaching out, either creating the content and reaching out to people and building relationships is where PR should be using social media. All right, paid social. This really will fall more under a marketing remit, and that's with ads designed to convert prospects to customers. That's it. Whether it's to buy something straight away, to download an ebook, to attend an event, to, click here to book in a time to see a product demonstration. That all falls under a marketing remit with paid social ads on Facebook, LinkedIn, TikTok, whatever. PR can use paid social, can and does, but I believe where their area starts and finishes really is to use paid social to amplify strategic content. Not get into the ads to convert prospects and customers. That's marketing's role. That's what they're good at doing. PR should be there about, we're doing some great content, but we just need to reach more eyeballs. Then we amplify through paid means. That's it. SEO, another one which is interesting. It bounces between both marketing and PR. Can have a crack at SEO. Now, SEO is largely considered to be a marketing function, and I would agree with that. It's around driving traffic to your website to kick off the customer journey towards conversion, get them into the marketing funnel, as it were. When it comes to PR, and you might be surprised that there's not too many, but there are a few agencies in England particularly who are PR agencies that have bought SEO agencies. So that gives you a little bit of an indication of where SEO fits from a PR perspective. And where I see SEO being important for PR there's really only a couple of areas there. Number one is earned backlinks. Now, that's a bit jargony, but earned backlinks is if you get an article up in Forbes magazine and they link back to, you've been able to get a link in there that refers back to another article you've written on your blog or your name or your bio, and it links back to your website. That is an earned backlink. It doesn't just happen. You haven't paid for it. You haven't bought it. You've earned the right by writing that article, being a trusted source of information on whatever this topic is, and they've covered you, but they've sent a link back. Another example might be you're a guest on someone else's podcast, and they do in their show notes of that podcast, they say connect with Trevor, and here's a link back to his website, etc., etc. That's an earned backlink. And it is still, the idea of that is to show up in search engine searches. The second part of SEO and PR is owning a thought leadership concept, framework, intellectual territory that's really important to your business. Now, a couple of ideas on I call it intellectual territory. Some people call it thought leadership concepts. But if you look at someone like Seth Godin, an amazing blogger, a marketing guru, a best-selling author for decades, he coined the phrase permission marketing many, many years ago. He wrote the book on it. And now permission marketing is part of the vernacular. But hopefully, if you've written enough about it and you become the trusted source and the go-to resource on that topic, hopefully you come up highest in the search engine rankings because, it's your phrase. So if strategically you've got a phrase or a thought leadership positioning or an area that you want to dominate intellectually and people get to know you in that respect, then you could do some SEO around that. There's other people. Mark Schaefer has written a book called Content Shock that grew out of an article that he wrote that went viral. So, I'm not so sure he's deliberately out there trying to get Content Shock up the rankings. But if that was really important to him, he could do that, is what I'm saying. If you put in Content Shock, he's going to come up anyway. David Meerman Scott had newsjacking. That to me is an intellectual territory. Amanda Natvidad, she's a marketer. She talks about zero-click content. That's her lexicon, her idea, her concept. And if she wants to own that, then she could do some SEO content around that. And to me, that's still a PR exercise. So that's SEO, a lot of grey area in SEO. But to me, it's really probably more of a marketing function to drive traffic and become known for certain keywords. Sponsorship is a grey area for sure. I guess if you looked at from a marketing perspective, when they get involved in sponsorships and, coming from a background where my agency did a lot of sponsorship leverage, the marketers, they did a deal with a big sporting event or a sporting property or an entertainment property. And, they had their name in lights and they did all this sort of stuff. The PR in that respect was to leverage that sponsorship spend. But normally it's the marketing team who will identify sponsorship as a strategy to reach more people, to connect with them, and to be able to associate their brand with a popular sport or entertainment property, for example. When it comes to PR and sponsorship, they're probably more niche, more targeted in terms of, for example, sponsoring an industry awards event or partnering with a non-profit organisation. PR teams within organisations will often partner with a community initiative or a social initiative as well. So it's more maybe a partnership. Now, there might be a paid element to that, but there's just a little bit of nuance between when a marketer gets involved and when a PR person gets involved. And believe me, it can go both ways. I've seen that happen. I've worked with both over decades. Events is another one because events and sponsorship can get quite in similar territory. But when I'm talking about events, I'm talking about putting on events and running events. And there are so many different types of events, let's be fair. Marketers usually do big stuff, so big, large branded events or public stunts and that type of thing. That's when marketers tend to get involved. Again, I'm probably edging more towards the bigger end of town on this, and this is based on my experience. But when PR get involved in events, it's probably more media and influencer type events, road shows, that side of things. Maybe some really strategic industry round tables they organise, get the influencers around the table. Maybe it's they hold breakfast events with speakers and invite clients, that side of things. To me, this is all about building relationships and forging a reputation in the industry. And PR might also create a public stunt specifically to generate media interest. So one of the companies that I co-owned many years back was an experiential PR firm, and a lot of that was creating stunts to get people interested directly, but also give the media something to talk about. So that's probably the difference between the two. And again, there's going to be some overlap there as well. Don't take this as completely 100% gospel, but again, I'm trying to give you a bit of a feel for the nuances between how marketing works and how PR works on similar types of functions like social media marketing and paid social and SEO and sponsorship and events. So testimonials, when marketers get hold of testimonials, they love testimonials, short and snappy, social proof. You see them on websites and it serves a purpose. It gives people comfort and validation towards the end of the sales process often. Then you get if PR people get hold of testimonials, hopefully they do more than just get a sound grab. That's great. That's a good starting point. But I always urge to go deeper with your clients and your customer stories and your client profiles, and you start talking about them using your platform to promote them. And yes, this is again where the nuance is. Yes, they're going to say somewhere along the line, when I used your product or whatever, but at the end of the day, it's going to be more about them. Okay, thought I'd just jump in here with a quick promo. This episode's brought to you by Pocket PR Essentials, Volume 1. This is my audio-only micro-coaching series for ambitious business owners and entrepreneurial professionals. Think training and inspiration in your pocket. Listen on the go via your podcast app. Go to www.pocketpressentials.com to learn more. And as I record this, a very special launch price is applicable. Now, back to the show. So we did talk about, as I said, social media, paid social, SEO, sponsorship events and testimonials, and the differences between marketing and PR when tackling those areas. Now I want to focus on content, because this is a really big play, and a lot of what I talk about is content. I'm all in on content-led communications. PR is all in on content-led communications, and content is something that marketers have grasped and jumped onto as well. But a lot of content marketing is done from marketers, but when it really should be done with a PR lens through it. Doesn't mean they're getting it wrong, but if you put a PR lens on it and all the sorts of things we talk about, reputation, building relationships, and getting more people to talk positively about our brand, that is PR. So how can we use content? How do marketers use content? How does PR use content? Now, when we look at content, it is just such a big thing anyway. But in terms of marketing and content, let's just look at the whole notion of the marketing funnel. You'll be aware of that. If you've got the top of the funnel, where you've got people becoming aware of the problem you solve, you got the middle of the funnel, which is prospective clients and customers starting to seek a solution and assessing their options. And then you got the bottom of the funnel, prospects are deciding on a solution and edge towards making a purchase. So this is the sort of thing that marketers look at, and content, when they do content, it should lock is at top of funnel, middle of funnel, bottom of funnel. Again, quite generalized, different for different businesses, but you get the idea. When I look at PR, yes, there's a lot of it is actually top of funnel, but I'm talking about this whole notion of before the funnel. What's some of the things that we need to create content around before we even start thinking about funnels? And you might not be a funnel person, and I get that, because a lot of people running businesses hate the notion of a funnel. But even if you didn't think of a marketing funnel per se, and you just said, well, I need to get people's attention first, and I need to draw them in and create desire for our products, and over time we can then convert them into clients and customers and hopefully advocates. It's a similar sort of a customer journey. So instead of funnel, you might want to replace that with customer journey. And the beginning of the journey, as they go through the process of doing research and getting interested in various solutions and assessing their options, and then they start making a decision. So same deal, customer journey. Again, what we do in PR is really before the funnel, just really using content to create that reputation, to spark conversation and build connection and relationships with not only key influencers, but the public directly, our target audience directly. Also things such as, building trust and respect and credibility. So that is where content really falls into the PR remit. And that's what PR do really well, because it's probably more editorially based versus product centric. So let's break this down even further. Written content, articles, blog posts, for example. When a marketer gets hold of this content, it's usually, or it should be, this is where they should excel. Product centered or product-centric posts, articles that are designed to overcome customers' objections, very much middle and bottom of funnel, and you could do how-to guides there as well. So you can see that it's really locked back to the customer journey. When it comes to written content and articles and blog posts, etc., from a PR perspective, it would have a strong editorial bias. Could be about thought leadership, opinion pieces, broader industry educational pieces. Could be books and ebooks you could throw into the mix there as well. If we look at content from a broadcast perspective, think podcasts and videos, for example. Again, how would a marketer attack that? Well, they'd look at it for, product use cases, interviews with clients and customers, or maybe a short-run podcast that's designed to on-ramp people ahead of a big product launch or that sort of things. I've seen that not often, but I've seen it where there's a 10 episodes that ladder up to a launch. So what you're doing is you're doing a short season, you're building a quick hit audience, and then you launch and you've got at least people to talk to. So that really falls into a marketing remit. And video tutorials and webinars are really classic marketing play as well. If I looked at how PR would handle broadcast content, i.e. podcasts and videos. Again, it's more editorial in style, discussion of broader industry topics and issues, interviews and Q&As with other experts and thought leaders, taking a thought leadership positioning in the marketplace, promoting the overall category, educating people, sparking conversation, provoking thought, changing the way people think about a topic or issue that's relevant to your industry, your expertise, that sort of things. So again, nuance either side. There's no right or wrong whether it falls under a marketing or PR banner, remit, but what I still think there is a definite lens that PR people have, and there's a definite lens that marketing people have. And what I want you to understand is if you get the PR lens right and you put the marketing on top, you're ahead of the game by far. And one final one would be, again, more written content. Think about email. So we've all signed up for things and then been smashed over the head with email newsletter, not even email newsletters, emails that are pitching and selling and adding here's a webinar and download this ebook and do this and that. They would call that email nurturing. I think it's email brutality sometimes, but the gist of a marketer getting hold of an email address and then nurturing, that recipient and working those prospects, they'd be prospects, leads, towards an offer with a strong focus on conversion or generating sales from their email blast, as it were. That's where marketers, come into play. It should be if it's cleverly written copy, copywriting that takes people through the journey and answers their objections. And if they know their customer really, really well, they'll be able to move them through the funnel or along the customer journey and hopefully edge them towards a sale. If you look at email from a PR perspective, it's going to be email newsletters. And email newsletters done well, again, with editorial intent. They can have a soft call to action, but that's not the main aim of the email. It is to build familiarity and trust and position individuals and the business as genuine experts and thought leaders in their space. It's to educate and inform and, start conversations with people. And it doesn't have to be a sale off the back of it. It's warming people up for the marketing messages. Whereas when the marketers use email, it's about having an email sequence and nurturing them and moving towards a sale. And I think there's very much a black and white scenario with each one of those. So the mistake I think most marketers make is that they look at the top of the funnel and then decide on a set of tactics. Now, these may or may not include such things as really general as content marketing, events, SEO, SEM, trade shows, direct mail, social media. And they will say PR. Yes, PR is often thrown in there as a tactic by marketers because they think PR is just about media coverage, and that's where they make that mistake. But I don't want to get too bogged down in all this. All you need to know is that there are things you should be doing for your business in a PR sense and execute these on these sets of tactics through a PR lens. And what I know is that this will help you build brand visibility, credibility, influence, trust, reputation, external third-party endorsement. All of these things are forerunners to commercial success. So in essence, PR done well will do a lot of the heavy lifting for marketing and sales. It will be a support to marketing and sales, not an either or, a support. Marketing, on the other hand, is or should be more concerned with the customer journey and what it does. What does that look like? And how can they move more people along that journey through the funnel, as it were, towards a sale and converting someone from a prospect to a paying client or customer. Now, any tactic that drives that journey and conversion is likely to fall under marketing, and that should be their focus. And of course, as I've said, there is a fair bit of grey area there, but let's not get too hung up on the tactics and which one's which, but more so the lens through which you apply each tactic. And again, without wanting to get into semantics, this is more about how you philosophically define your approach to marketing. If you're always in sales mode, you're pitching people at every opportunity, if that is your philosophy and way of doing things, okay, good luck. It's tough to do successfully today when people are running from, companies that are incessantly beating their chest and promoting their wares. It's getting tough to do. We've got to be smarter with how we do that. However, on the flip side, and again, this is a philosophical approach, if you say, look, I think the thing to do is to build a base of respectful communications, to go out there and nurture strategic relationships, grow my reputation, build our brand's visibility and credibility, and build our influence and trust in the marketplace, and getting people to talk about us in a positive way in the marketplace, if that's the way you approach it, then in turn, that's when you're in a great position to unleash your marketing and sales efforts. And whoever's in charge of this aspect, get out there and support them. Help them get out there with a solid brief so they can do their thing without worrying about the myriad PR things that might trip them up. This is the best of both worlds. And again, I think it's a philosophical argument here. Which one do you lean towards? Now, I will add here, this is not to say PR does not care about or contribute to sales and revenue. Far from it. It's just that its approach is more indirect and ongoing. It's foundational in that it supports many functions of a business, not just marketing. It does support marketing, but there are other functions of a business, including recruitment and building partnerships and opportunities in new markets, that side of things. Marketing, however, is more campaign-based, whereas PR is more ongoing. And marketing, because it's campaign-based, it has the imprimatur to chase the sale. It's very hard to be marketing all the time. It's better to be doing it in bursts of campaign off the back of the trust, the reputation you've built through PR. Suitable tactics, therefore, I think, from a marketer should be picked to ensure that each function operates at its optimum level. And problems occur when everything's mishmashed. So that's the crux of this. Marketing and PR need to pick suitable tactics to ensure each function operates at an optimum level. As a business owner, if you can get this clarity and focus on the things you should be doing rather than trying to do everything in a mishmashed way, that's a technical term, you're going to be so far ahead of the competition. It's not funny because no one does this. Now, I'll finish on this topic by noting that some of you might disagree with me, and that's absolutely fine. I'm sure there's a lot of marketers out there who totally and utterly disagree with this. They prefer to believe that PR is media publicity in their eyes and it's a tactic of marketing and we'll kick it over there. Fine, go for it. I don't care. All good. The winners will be those who do see this bigger picture, who understand the changing landscape, who see the differences between the elements and the functions and take action accordingly. See you in the next episode.